Yeah, good evening and welcome to the special edition of Iyun Benzion, Kesubos Kuf Gimel, Kesubos 103. It's a really long daf, Yomish. I don't know why it took so long. It was a really long daf, 38 minutes. I can't believe it took so long to do it. Crazy. All those people that are listening, 38 minutes, and what to do with themselves. They didn't cut out of their day 38 minutes. They usually do it in 20 minutes. I want to talk today about what comes up in the story here about Rebbe. Rebbe's dying. He said that after he dies, you should honor his wife. It turns out his wife wasn't. He was a stepmother. He got remarried. And Murr says, nonetheless. So why do you have to tell him to honor his children to honor their mother, their stepmother, right? It says with Bryce, where it brings kabed es avicha v'simecha es avicha. It says es avicha v'simecha. Why the extra word es? So es avicha is your stepfather. Eshes avicha is your stepmother. V'esimecha is ubalimcha, your stepfather. Vav Yisrael Rabba Zechach extra Vav Ve, right? Who is that coming to include? Now you have to honor your oldest brother, right? Children. If there's an older brother. It doesn't say a Bechor. I don't know if it has to be a Bechor. It'll say the oldest son is the second child. You have to honor that brother. Now, I want to talk a little about the mitzvah of Kibbut Avim and how it relates. The Gemara eventually says that the mitzvah of honoring your stepfather, stepmother, is only during the lifetime of your biological parent. After the biological parent dies, so then you don't have to honor them anymore, because the whole basis of you honoring the step parent is because they're married to your biological parent. Really, the mitzvah is to marry is to honor your biological parent, and the step parent you honor because you're giving honor to your parent for marrying these people. Now, what is the mitzvah of Kibbut Avim? And I want to discuss whether the vav, which is me, I am the bechor. I have 3 siblings. They have to honor me. The same way they have to honor my parents, they have to honor me. I don't know if they do that. I'm not going to tell you what they do there. But they technically, the mitzvah is they do. So, is that also only when my parents are alive? Technically, my parents are still alive. So, it should be well until May of Esrim. But, I mean, would it apply after my parents pass away also? So, I want to explain a little bit. I'm not going to fully get into mitzvah of kibbut avim over here. The chinuch says that the point of mitzvah of kibbut avim is really hakaras hatov. Right? We see from here the real mitzvah is your biological parents. They gave birth to you. They created you. Without them, you wouldn't be here. So you have hakaras hatov to them. You want to treat them. But I think it's a little deeper than that, and it does obviously only biological parents. It's that it's not just hakaras hatov for them creating you or for raising you and supporting you and sustaining you and giving you whatever you need to grow up, both emotionally and financially and physically. They give you everything that they could. Now, I am a parent, and my kids are not that old. And to see how much work, forget about finances, will come soon, when things get more expensive. But just, it's so much emotional and physical. Right now, it's physically, because they're very young. They need a lot of help physically. Because they're young, they can't do too much themselves. So it's a real. You put a lot of effort into your kids, a lot of work. You should get paid back a little bit. At least they should respect you. Most kids don't respect their parents. They're not mekayim the mitzvah, even though it's one of the shares of dibros. Even though it's one of the 2 things that you get arichas yamim for. I mean, laman yarichan yamecha. If you want to live a long life, olam haba tchias hamesim, you better be good in this mitzvah kibbut avim. Maybe the most important mitzvah in the whole Torah, I would venture to say. I would say the mitzvah of kibbut avim is kibbut, right? Kibbut. When you're mechabed someone, mechabed a big rabbi, you're mechabed a president, a prime minister. You give them honor, and even you're supposed to fear your parents. This doesn't imply closeness. It's not like Ava or something like that. You're supposed to love them, and there's no mitzvah to love your parents. There's a mitzvah to respect them, and what I mean by that is, I think. Let's just start with one aspect. Financially, I think you should respect your parents financially. Meaning you shouldn't rely on your parents financially when you're able to do it yourself. Meaning, obviously, when you're growing up, it's hard. Even, yes, you can get a job when you're 14 years old, delivering newspapers, but technically, you want to have a better education, a secondary education, a tertiary education. So, but when you get the degree and you get the job, you shouldn't be relying on your parents financially. I when I was in this stage for many years before I got married, I mean, it didn't affect me. I didn't need so much money, but I could have, if I would have gotten married younger, I would have, because being Haredi, who's gonna support me? My parents are gonna support me. My in-laws are gonna support me. I gotta learn Torah for Klal Yisrael. I gotta save Klal Yisrael, right? They owe me this money, the Amaratzim, they don't learn Torah. At least I'm doing a Torah to Klal Yisrael. At least they could support me in my learning. But no, but I think that it was hard for me. I always say, oh, I'm sure my parents should support me. I'm learning. I'm doing good. So my parents don't believe in this cola lifestyle, but I now, as an older person and recognizing what financial independence does for you, I saw a short clip of Donald Trump saying, "I can't be bought." I mean, he was describing why he was different than other candidates when he was running for president. It was self-funded. He's a billionaire, so he paid for anything he needed for his running for president. Other candidates, they're not so rich, so they get big donations, to pay for their campaigns, and they're bought by those people. China, he was saying, China pays candidates money. They can't do anything, even though it affects adversely. When they become president, it affects what their policies adversely affect the interests of the United States. Nonetheless, they're bought because they helped them become president, because they help them financially. And that's the way it works. If you get support by your parents, your in-laws, that means you're bought by them, and you can't have that respect anymore. A respect has to be from a point of strength, not from a point of weakness. When your parents say, I want you to come live in America now. You're going to live in Israel. I want you to come live in America. You should have to say, no, listen, I support myself. I want to live in Israel. You can say that. If they're supporting you, you can't say that to them. If they say, I want you to come in for Pesach now, I want you to come, you can't say that. You can't say, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. You're stuck. You can't. They're giving you your bread on your table. You can't. There's nothing you could do about it. So, means honor your parents, honor them financially, at least one aspect, and have a relationship. That's part of having a relationship, a normal relationship with your parents. A good relationship is respect them financially. Yes, they supported you for many years, and there's a certain point when you're able to do it yourself. Do it yourself. Get a job yourself. Make it on your own. Don't go to your parents. Listen, sometimes parents help their kids with down payment on a house, something like that. I'm not saying that's a terrible thing, but just to get a check once a month from your parents, or they're paying for your whole living, and they're paying for your kids' weddings, their grandkids' wedding. I mean, and then their grandkids sitting in cola. It gets a little bit ridiculous. I mean, it's way overboard, over boundaries over here. So that's really kabez avicha v'estimecha. So tying this back to an older brother also, because the reason I think the Torah is interested in the older brother also getting honor is because technically, if the parents aren't able to help their children, let's say they're disadvantaged or they're just not able to get a job or something like that, then the onus is usually going to fall on not the girl. Girls, it's harder for them to earn an income, but the oldest brother would have to earn that income to support the rest of his family. So that responsibility, even if he technically doesn't do it, that responsibility deserves honor from the rest of the siblings also. I'd venture to say this mitzvah of the older brother applies even after the parents' death, because technically the older brother, even if his parents died, there's biological siblings, he would be responsible to support them also. So therefore, you have to respect that brother in terms of meaning because he has responsibility to financially support you in a situation of need. So therefore, when you're able to yourself, you should do it yourself. You should take care of yourselves. Obviously, because he bears that responsibility, you have to give him honor. So make it yourself. And if you can't make it yourself, then I'll take care of you. And that's why you have to. So that's really, I think, what the mitzvah is, and that's why this vit, as it can't kabed. It could have said it didn't have to say s kabed. It could have said kabed avicha v'imecha, but it had to say the vav. You can't say kabed avicha v'imecha. The vav is not part of the s. The s is extra. That only applies during the life of your parents, but the vav applies even after your parents die. It's the same reasoning of your parents that's supporting you. Financial independence. That's what I have to say about this. I hope you enjoyed tonight's share. See you in the next one.